Oh, I'm out. What's up everyone, welcome back to another episode of PSR. Today we're looking at an Italian pistol. And what do you think of when you think about an Italian pistol? You probably think of the Beretta M9, the Beretta 92, a absolutely tried and true platform that was used by the US Army for decades. And today we do have an Italian pistol on the channel, but it's not a Beretta 92 or M9. It is the Beretta APX A1, a very bright, very neon Beretta APX A1. The APX A1 I have not heard a lot about. Honestly, it's pretty undervalued in the gun space as a pistol. Don't see a lot of people running them. So I wanted to see what this gun was about and check it out. It is an Italian made pistol and it is made by Beretta, a very tried and true firearms manufacturer. And usually Berettas aren't really inexpensive. They're quality firearms, like I said, made in Gardone, Italy. This is the land of spaghetti. And the Beretta APX has been out for a long time, but this is the A1, which came out in 2022. So it's about 3 years old at this point. And I just want to see what it's like because I haven't shot one. And any chance I get to shoot a new pistol that I haven't shot before, particularly in this segment, which is extremely saturated. You've got the Glock 17, the Canics, you got the Walthers, you got the M&Ps. So many guns in this category of striker fired, polymer framed handguns. How does this stack up? Well, we're gonna see, but first I gotta thank the channel sponsor for PSR, and that is Aves Engineering. Guys, Aves Engineering is awesome because they make all of the rails for your DIY squirted projects, particularly the glizzy kind. But they don't just got that, they got a ton of Mac uppers as well in various lengths and colors, and they are a great manufacturer based right here in the USA, cranking the hog, cranking all sorts of parts out. And I would never in a million years use PSR for 10% off your entire order from Aves. Tell them PSR sent you, and thanks again to Aves Engineering for sponsoring this channel. Full disclosure, Beretta did send me this pistol, but they didn't ask me to give a positive review or anything. This is a cool Cerakote job by Ho Arms. Ho Arms, a veteran-owned business that does a lot of Cerakote. Big shout out to them. So Beretta sent me this as part of their special Cerakote edition of these guns. I love the kind of like Borderlands theme Cerakotes. It looks cool. So Beretta sent me this one, and I was roaming around my gun store and I was like, wait, is that a A1? And I found a used A1 for, I think it was like 300 bucks. So one of the things about these guns that I noticed online looking for them is they are not nearly as expensive as, for example, a Glock or a Walther PDP or some of the other guns like M&Ps. The cheapest one I found, the non-tactical one with the regular sights and the standard capacity magazines, that one I found as low as $329 online when I looked on gun deals. So these are selling for basically the price of a Taurus. And if you're getting a quality made firearm in Italy by Beretta, I'd say that's a pretty good price. So I want to see like what's the hype about all these. Is there a big drawback that's causing them maybe not to sell as well as some of the other guns in the market? Is it just because it's a saturated market? I bought the used one with my own money to just want to test a different copy that wasn't brand new like this one. And we're gonna see if there are any differences between them. But for all intents and purposes, it's the same exact gun. We've got the tactical version with the higher iron sights here. And then this one was not the tactical version, but it did have suppressor height sights on it. And then the other cool thing about this gun is it is optics ready. You do have to purchase the plate separately, which is a little bit of a bummer. So the history of Beretta, let's talk a little bit about pistols made in Italy. So the Beretta 92, obviously a very, very established handgun used by the US Army for many years. And in 2015, the US Army, of course, switched to the P320 or the M17. This was the modular handgun contract, and Beretta did submit a firearm for that, but it was the M9. So they just kind of revised the M9. And of course, the SIG won for various reasons we're not going to get into.
My gun just went off. It's in the holster.
Maybe they have a little bit of regret about that at this point. But the Beretta APX A1 did not exist during that time. And I would think that at this point, it would probably be a pretty top contender if they did that trial again, because this is a chassis firearm. So this is like the P320, only in that it actually uses a chassis system. So you can swap the grips out without changing the firearm. So these are not serialized polymer frames, essentially. They are an accessory. They're not a firearm. The firearm is actually the fire control unit that is in here, and you can kind of see it underneath this with the serial number, similar to the P320. The original, which had this kind of Toblerone chocolate bar slide, which was very polarizing. That one didn't have an optics cut, and I believe that also was a chassis gun, but they didn't submit that to the modular handgun trials, which is interesting. So hindsight 2020 at this point, with all the issues with the P320, this one probably would have been right up there with the other guns in that trial, like the FN, the M&P, the Glock, etc. Except this actually is more modular than those guns because the serialized part is within this frame. So it'd be cool if like Flux and some of the other companies made chassis for this gun, but at this point I just don't think it's quite popular enough. There's not enough people that have them for them to want to make that leap to try to make a chassis for it. But I think it would be a cool candidate for a chassis. As far as the barrel length, this one with the threaded barrel is 4.8 inches. This threaded barrel actually did come on this gun, but I decided to put it on this because I just like the black tactical look with the threaded barrel. But we got a 4.8 inch barrel, and I think it's just a little bit shorter for this one, about 4.5 without the threaded barrel on there. Standard capacity magazines are 17 rounds, but the tactical version comes with 3 of these 21 rounders, which I really think is awesome. That is high value to include 3 mags with a pistol, and they are metal and just got a really nice finish on them. So props to them on that. Both these pistols are equipped with the TLR1HL lights and Siley Wolf EDG optics. These are, in my opinion, really good optics for what they do. Their RMR footprint, I know a lot of people are kind of like just getting introduced to the Siley optics, but they are really great from what I've experienced. I have a ton of them and I really like how they perform. This one's a closed emitter, both of these. These Chinese optics are oftentimes made in the same factory as some of your other big name brands in the industry. That's all I'll say about that. As far as the trigger goes, just dry firing it, we've got really just a little bit of take up here and you hit the wall. It's not the lightest trigger in the world. Honestly, it doesn't feel the best out of all the striker fire handguns just dry firing it, but then the reset, it's pretty tactile. It's not a ton of travel. It almost feels like there's a little bit of resistance in the reset compared to some other guns. It's definitely not as good of a trigger as a Walther or like the Canik, for example, but it's not horrible. And the used one feels a little bit smoother, probably just because it's been shot a bit more. Very similar feeling trigger. So the takedown on this is a little bit wonky. You have to push this pin out while you rotate this thing, and then you can move the pistol forward and off the frame, I believe. Okay, that's how it goes. Yeah, one of the interesting things about this gun, got the used one and it was having malfunctions, and I found out that the recoil spring that was in the used gun for whatever reason was the wrong recoil spring. So I went and ordered the correct recoil spring, the same one that I have in this brand new one that Beretta sent. That I won't really fault as an issue with the gun. It's just whoever had it before me, I guess they just put the wrong recoil spring in. But right now we have the correct recoil spring in, and there you can see the fire control unit. We got a lot of rail estate here, very robust rails that are in the fire control unit. See if we can get this thing back on here. Lock it back. Now we're good. Pretty easy, actually. I noticed that on the new one, it's a little bit harder to push that pin, probably just because it hasn't been shot as much, but relatively easy. We got ambidextrous controls on this thing, both sides, the slide release here and slide catch, which is nice. Magazine release can be swapped out to either side. Right now I'm righty, so it's on the right side. The back straps are modular as well. They come with thicker back straps. If you have a thicker hand, it'll kind of increase that length of pull a little bit on the gun. I think this is the medium or the small. I like my pistols to have a little bit smaller grip. I don't have massive fingers, but I have big palms. Feels right the way it is, so I do really like the way it feels in my hand. A lot of grip on the front here, pretty aggressive. The green one just looks cool, honestly, and it's got a green dot on it and green sights. So today we're going to shoot this thing, see how it feels, initial shots, and then we're going to compare it with basically all of my other striker fired handguns in this kind of category. I've got a Walther PDP Pro E, I've got a Glock 34, Canik SFX, PSA Dagger, and an M&P. So we're going to see how all of these guns compare against this Beretta. Let's get to shooting this thing. All right, first shots on the APX A1 from Beretta. It's pretty flat shooting, honestly. The gun itself is pretty bulky. It's got a bigger, kind of heftier slide to it. A little double tap. Not bad. I like how it feels so far. We're running 124 grain Turkish stuff. This is the NATO spec. A little bit more recoil than your 115 grain. Yeah, I mean, it shoots pretty flat. With the trigger dingus, similar to the Glock, it's kind of just pinching my pointer finger just a little bit. I don't know if that's the recoil impulse or what, but I do feel a little bit of a pinch on my finger. If I adjust it and just kind of hit the trigger with the tip of my finger, it's not there, but. All right, let's try my used one, and I have it in this holster, which is like a universal holster. It's kind of nice. It just mates with the TLR1HL or the Goon Beams. This is also a modular holster adapter from True North Concepts. Really sick. You can kind of cant it how you want it, but this is a good setup for like if you're doing finished brutality and you have multiple guns that you might be training with. This holster allows you, to keep that retention. So it's level 2. You hit the button. And you can use it with multiple pistols as long as you have the same light. So I kind of like this thing. Forget the brand, but I'll put the link to it in the description. So far, I really like it. Let's try our used APX-A1. See if we have any differences here. So I'm not getting the pinchy thing that I am with the other one for some reason on this trigger. Maybe it's just because I'm getting used to it, but I like it so far. Oh, nice. I like it when I slam a mag in and the slide closes and chambers around. Probably doing that because it's used and it's got a good amount of rounds through it. Do double taps pretty good. Things I like about it just after shooting it a few mags. I really like the aggressive slide serrations on here. It's nice, and it looks a little bit less cocked than the Toblerone bar. The pistol seems to return to the original place, every shot really well. So it's got a good recoil impulse in terms of just how it feels. Like I said, it's a bit more clunky, a little bit bigger than some of the other guns in the segment, but the bore axis is actually pretty good. It feels relatively low and not too snappy. Feeling pretty good so far. Let's go for speed here. We got a 17 round mag, standard capacity, and let's see how fast I can do 17 shots. So 505, short stroke the trigger a little bit there. The tactical version is a little bit more expensive. I think the lowest I could find the tactical one was 450, but for what you get compared to like a Glock or something, honestly, it's pretty damn good, the price point on it. All right, so now I want to try this thing suppressed and see if we run into any issues suppressing this gun, because it's got the threaded barrel, and most striker fired guns, well, the Glocks at least, are hard to suppress out of the box. So I want to see if this thing will run out of the box with the suppressor. All right, so this is the Dead Air Mojave 45. I don't have my Mojave 9, which would probably be more ideal for this, but it's pretty light, actually. This is a additively manufactured can, but it's long. This is full assassin mode, honestly. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. We do have the Nielsen device that came with the can on here, and we're just gonna see if it runs. I got the 1/2x28 adapter, because this is normally like 45 suppressor can. It will work fine with 9. So let's see if the APX can actually suppress. Same supersonic ammunition. We're gonna try some subs after this. Oh yeah. Oh, that's working great. It tames the recoil significantly. Probably just because it's got some more weight on it, but that's awesome. Hell yeah. Let's try it with some subs. So we got 4 supers, and then the rest are subs. So let's see the difference in sound here with our Mojave 45. Super. Hear that crack, super. All right, now let's hear the subs. Oh yeah, baby. That's quiet. Let me take the ear pro off. Damn, just even the fact that it's a 45 can, it's still really quiet. Nice. Wow. So pretty good. Does the mag drop free? Yes. Nice. So it works out of the box with the suppressor, which is awesome. You can't really say that about a Glock. All right, we're starting off with a PSA Dagger full size. So this is a 19 slide length and then a 17 grip. This is the lowest priced option probably comparing with the Beretta APX-A1. And I'll kind of go back to back just to show the differences in terms of just like direct input right next to each other, how each pistol feels against each other. All right. Interesting. The recoil impulse feels a little bit more snappy on this one. It could be because of the shorter barrel and slide contributing to that snappiness, and maybe it's a little lighter weight than the APX-A1, but let's try the APX-A1 next to it. Try the Dagger out again. Interesting, but the trigger on the Dagger is not bad. It is a little bit snappier. All right, moving on to our next Miller budget option. This is a used TP9 SF that I got a little while ago to kind of compare it to the Walther. I think I got it for right around 250 bucks used. So similar price point. Wow, way snappier. This one feels like the most snappy, honestly. Let's try it next to our APX-A1 here. Yeah, it's quicker to return to the point of aim than the Canic, but that trigger on the Canic is pretty excellent. Yeah, I like this Canic trigger more, but it is more snappy. Feels like the slide mass is greater on this one, or it's contributing to more flip on the gun. Next up in the budget category, the SIG P320. At this point, these can be found for as low as, I think I saw one for like 175 bucks. So yeah, let's shoot this. Oh wait, just kidding, it sucks. Let's not shoot it. I didn't think I had one in the chamber. All right, next up is the RX Delta L. So this is a Glock 17 size slide. This is maybe my favorite striker fired handgun. I have shot this a ton. I probably have the most rounds through this than any other handgun that I own. Aside from the more low profile mag release, which I had to swap out with a bigger one, it's an excellent option and you can get them for a lot cheaper than some of the other options. So this one's awesome. It's made in Slovenia. Shout out to Slovenia. All right, we're gonna shoot the APX now. Interesting. I will give it to the APX in that it feels like not so much recoil compared to even this guy, which I really don't think has a ton of recoil, but the recoil impulse on this is a little bit more snappy initially, but it does return and the trigger is great. Yeah, the APX is just really flat. It's a very flat shooting handgun. Next up, we got the Glock 34. I did put the Glock performance trigger in this. Also got a Siley optic on here. The 34 is cool. Let's see how it feels next to the tried and true Glock here. Yeah, I mean, it's a Glock. It feels similar to the PSA Dagger in ways. But this still, honestly, out of all the guns we've shot so far, this one stays the flattest. The sensation feels like it's not as strong as the recoil. The recoil is really nice on this one, even compared to the 34, which really doesn't have a ton of recoil. Next up, we got the Smith & Wesson M&P 9. This is the standard size one, but I do have a compensator on here, so it's not that fair, honestly. There's no M&P FRT on here, but I just wanted to see just kind of the trigger. Let's see how it feels. Woo, that trigger is, it's kind of hard to tell where the break is on that one, but it's a nice feel. Yeah, this with the compensator, it's pretty hard to beat the feel of it, but I don't know if I necessarily love the trigger dingus on it and the curve, but it's a very nice, it's a nice feeling once you get the hang of it. The recoil on it, I can't really compare it with the APX because it's got a compensator. The recoil impulse without the comp on the APX feels similar to this with the comp. All right, last but not least, the Walther PDP Pro E. So this is the non-threaded barrel version, but it's got their nicer trigger in it, but it is the polymer version of their nice trigger. We got an RMR on here. This is way more expensive than the APX A1. All right, let's try the A1 now. Yeah, honestly, out of all the pistols we've shot, this feels like it shoots the flattest. The Walther has some snap to it. The recoil spring people sometimes do change. Because of the mass of this slide has like an extra girth to it, even more so than the APX. but it's still got the snap. Yeah, nothing beats that trigger though. Out of all the guns that we got, in my opinion, this is the best trigger. But as far as the felt recoil goes, this still feels like it's just like a sharp punch, whereas the APX, it feels like kind of like just a much softer feeling in your hand. Out of all of the guns here, even the M&P with the comp, this feels the best under recoil, in my opinion, which I did not expect because it's got a kind of a chunky slide. The Walther, it feels like this is thicker. Whatever's happening in this APX is making it feel softer than the Walther, but that's the width as far as the chunky boys go. All right, so we got 7 targets about 10 yards away here. We're gonna run a course of fire from left to right. You don't get to have any makeup shots, so we're just doing 7 shots. I like doing this because it kind of gives me a better feeling of how fast the gun shoots. Let's do this timed. Start out with the APX A1, of course. .378, 1 mic. All right, next up, PSA Dagger full size. .412. I just shoot Glocks a little bit low left. It's me, it's not the gun. A little bit slower time. Next up, Glock 34. .336. All right, next up, RX Delta L. Ah, 1 mic at the end, .381. All right, here we go with the Canic iron sights. So this is gonna be a little more challenging. .423. Time for the M&P with the compensator. Like I said, not really fair, but iron sights. .428. PDP. Shouts out to Aves Engineering, channel sponsor. They actually got me this gun, so big shout out to Aves. .384 with the Walther PDP Pro E. I'm going back to the Beretta now, see if I can get that time down any better here. .364. Seems like the 3.6 range is about my best time with this. We'll try to get it below a .364 here. .336, 1 mic. As far as the rest of the pistols go, that's a really good time compared to the other ones that I got. So in terms of getting under pressure, trying to shoot as fast as I can shoot this one pretty good. There's not much of a flared mag well on this, but I do want to see how hard and how easy it is to do some 1R1s. See how the mag changes go. All right, 1R1s from the holster. Nice, .432. Ooh, .362. I love this kind of stuff. You don't go through a lot of ammo, but it's really good training. It's just fun.
A few moments later.
Ah, slide stop. Let's get this under 3.5. Woo, 311. There it is. If you push it hard enough into the mag well, I found that usually the slide stop will disengage and you'll chamber another round. I'll try to just softly jam it in and see. So yeah, it's easier for me to do it with my left thumb than my right thumb, just because of the nature of how big my hands are. It's not too hard once you get the location of it. It is kind of low profile, this slide stop. All right, so some conclusions on the Beretta APX A1. Surprised me, honestly. I'm kind of surprised that more people don't run these. I never shot the original APX, so it's hard to compare the original to this, but in comparing it with the other options on the market, at least the ones that I have that I shot today, I noticed the biggest plus to this thing is the recoil impulse. I feel like it was the flattest shooting non-compensated gun that we tried today, and that's comparing it with Glock 34, the PDP, Canic, M&P, and and a couple of others, and I was very impressed by that. The other positive I would say about this thing is the grip angle, and the grip feels really excellent. There's not much of a gas pedal or anything on this. It would be nice if they made like a gas pedal style similar to the P320, because it does have a similar lockup the way you take it down. So like a little gas pedal takedown lever would be kind of cool. It returned to the point of aim really nice. That's another thing I noticed about this gun. It really returned well in terms of the recoil and setting it back to where you aimed originally. I do like that it comes with 3 21-round mags if you get the tactical version. The suppressor height sights are nice. Serrations on the slide, excellent. No complaints about that. Where this gun, I feel like, underachieves is the trigger. I did kind of short stroke it a couple times. The trigger is not really on the level of, for example, the Walther PDP, which I think has the best trigger of any striker-fired handgun out there. In my opinion, it's kind of similar to a Glock, but I do shoot this better than I shot the Glock. Even the PSA Dagger, I was better with this than both the 34 and the PSA Dagger. I do probably prefer this trigger slightly to the Glock trigger. I don't think it's quite as good as the RX Delta L. It's not quite as good as the Canic that we tried, and it's about on par with the M&P. So I would probably give this trigger like a 6 out of 10. It's definitely serviceable, it's decent, but it's not the best trigger on the market. And I think the reset just feels a little bit weird for me, but I was able to shoot this thing fast. We saw it on the course there once I got the hang of it, and I think if you train with this, if you shoot with it, you're gonna have the same experience where you just got to get used to the gun. That I'd say is like maybe the downside is the trigger's not excellent. I really do like that I could, both on the new one and the used one, I could jam that mag in nice and hard, and that slide goes forward when you have a loaded mag in there, and I really do like that from a handgun. I prefer that because it makes the reload even faster. As far as malfunctions go, this did not have any malfunctions. This one, the brand new one that Beretta sent. This used one, we did get 2 failures to eject the casing, in which we had like a little stovepipe action. So we did get 2 malfunctions with this used one, and maybe it has to do with the recoil spring that I put in, but it, for the most part, was running great. And even with the suppressor on it, this one with our Mojave 45 suppressor, it did great. We had no malfunctions with the suppressor on it. So I don't know, maybe that recoil spring maybe needs a little bit more tuning. Maybe I should try putting this recoil spring that came with this in this gun. I don't really necessarily know what the issue with that is, but I mean, there was only 2. We put probably 500 rounds through both of these separately. I probably put a little bit more through this one today than this guy, but it's great to know that this thing will function out of the box with a suppressor. The mag release is perfect for me, located perfectly. They always drop free the mags, which is really nice. The slide stop being ambi is great, but I noticed that I wish it was just a little bit more pronounced and not so tight onto the frame. Some people may like that, some people may not. But if you're doing the reloads like I was, where you're just jamming it in there and the slide closes, then that's not really an issue. But I did have to hit it with my left thumb rather than my right, probably just because I have smaller fingers. So this is a kind of a slept-on handgun, I think, especially at the price point. I know Beretta was doing some like $100 rebates on some of their guns recently. I don't know if this qualified for that or if they're still doing it, but if you can get this, like I said, I found this on Gun Deals, non-tactical version with the standard capacity 17 round mags, $329. That is pretty much on the par of like a PSA Dagger or like a Taurus or something. I think this is a better gun than those 2 guns. I mean, you're getting a Beretta made in Italy. While it might not be the very best striker fired handgun on the market, for the price, for $329 or $450 in the case of the tactical version, like that's lower than even Glocks that are bone stock factory Glocks, and this is better than a bone stock factory Glock in my opinion. So yeah, the positives definitely the price, the grip, felt recoil, biggest positive in my opinion, and the flat shooting nature of this gun. Negatives, I would say trigger could be better, slide stop ergos, and just it's a little bit bulkier of a pistol. But if you're thinking about getting a striker fired handgun and maybe your budget's a little bit lower, sub $500, definitely consider the Beretta APX A1. I think it's a great pistol. It'd be cool if chassis companies like Strike Industries or Flux or some of the other chassis companies made like a PDW chassis for this, because you can totally do it because it's got that fire control unit versus the polymer frame being the firearm. I think that's another plus, considering there's a lot more popularity for these chassis pistols. And I mean, theoretically, you could squirt a chassis. It wouldn't be a firearm, but it would be cool. You could make a chassis for this. So that's going to be my review of the Beretta APX A1, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. I have a Patreon. I released my videos early, and there's some access to my music that I haven't released. So if you're into that, sign on up. It helps to go support the channel and ammo costs and stuff like that. So what do you think of the Borderlands Beretta? Let me know in the comments. Do you shoot an APX A1? If so, what are your thoughts? I will see you on the next video, guys. Thanks so much for watching. Hope you have an excellent day. Take care. Try that again. Oh, Jesus Christ. Wow, okay.